Hello everybody, this is going to be part 2 to, sorry for background noise, but I gotta move something. This is going to be part 2 to the what if Nagisa had the sharingan. Now, I had some comments in the last video. Kamui is a hereditary disease that is passed down from generation to generation. Nagisa's grandpa didn't have it because his that broke the cycle. So that's why Nagisa's dad didn't, and that's also why, and then it resurfaced inside of Nagisa. So it's a hereditary disease that's very rare. It's the rarest disease in the world. It's also said that if you do have the disease, it's a physical enhancer, but it's not proven. So the doctors don't kidnap Nagisa and research on him or stuff like that. But yeah, I saw a comment in that. Kamui is a hereditary disease, so it's passed on from family to family. And that's how it works. It's only ever held by one person, or multiple people of the same family, and it's only held by males. Females can't catch Kamui, but they can carry Kamui. As in, if they have a son, the son could have Kamui, but there's no chance for a girl having Kamui. And when I say Kamui, I mean the disease. Now, let me know if you want a part 3, or if you want a part of this, or if you want the final part to What If Bell. Now, I also want to bring up that I am overjoyed. I know I don't sound overjoyed, but this is just my voice. I'm overjoyed at the amount of subscribers we have. Now, you're probably wondering why I say we all the time, but I find it rude to be like, I love how many subscribers I have, because I run this channel with Ace. And just because he's not around as much because his phone's broken, doesn't mean I won't include him in the footage. So, yeah. This is What If Nagisa had the Sharingan Part 2. Also, if we get to 100 subscribers by... Tomorrow is the 5th? Yeah, tomorrow's the 5th. I'm recording this on Thursday. Tomorrow's the 5th, which means 7 days from the 5th will be the 12th. If we have 100 subscribers by the 12th, I will do either an hour-long video or 3 uploads. So, yes. Now, this is going up on Friday, and because I made sure I'm recording it now. I'm talking a lot, I should probably stop. Well, now let's get into the what if. I left off with Nagisa walking in, saying, "Hey, Teach." Koro-sensei looks at the boy and says, "Ah, you must be Nagisa," considering Nagisa was the only one not in the class at the time. Nagisa walks in and shakes Koro-sensei's hand. He says, "Hello. I am Nagisa. It's nice to meet you. I hope we can be somewhat decent acquaintances, maybe even friends." Koro-sensei says, "I like that. I always have a good time having a in-school and out-of-school relationship with my students." As Nagisa finishes shaking his hand, he goes to sit down. As he's walking, everybody's saying, "Hey, Nagisa, I'm surprised you're even here." Nagisa said, "Well, when the government told me about this, I couldn't pass it up." Right away, when the moon blown up, Nagisa was informed that, not Nagisa, right when they had the idea to bring the course into the school, they informed Nagisa. If you're wondering why, it's because Nagisa is in connection with the mob boss, which is also known as the Yakuza, and he is the the doll face with red eyes. So he has a very high reputation, and the government came to the mob boss and asked about the kid. He said, I don't know, but the guy said legit, and they set up a meeting. Nagisa came in, they got acquainted, and so Nagisa lowered his grades to be an E-class that semester. So did Karma, because he didn't want to be separated from his bud. Now, story break. Who do you want to be the ship? Cause I am doing some over 18 content in this, considering the last video. I saw some comments saying that it was a little too dark, so I'm gonna try to not make it as dark. But I'm sorry, but I still gotta. Like I said in the comment, paying for power. Okay, so back to the story. Yeah, but Karma lowered his grades to be in the same E-class. So he's being greeted as he walks by, as he gets to the jackass with the grenade. He says, "Hey, how you doing?" They fist bump as Nagisa sits down in the middle of the class as math class starts. Now, Nagisa has had the sharingan activated the entire time. He hasn't turned his eyes off. So, he's studying Koro-sensei's every move. As Karma stands up and fires a bullet at Koro-sensei. As it's traveling through the air, Koro-sensei catches it with the chalk. And for some reason, Nagisa tracked every movement, as if he was moving at normal human speeds. It seems his eyes can move at Mach 25. His reflexes are off the charts, but his body cannot physically react to his reaction time, so it is at peak human conditions until he raises physical strength. And because of the sharingan booster, he is probably the fastest reflexes in the world, aside from Koro-sensei. Actually, no, he has dropped something. He has higher reflexes than Koro-sensei. He just can't move as fast as Koro-sensei. So yes, all through math class, Karma was doing crazy shit, throwing knives, shooting. And this was a plan, because Karma knows exactly about Conway. He knows everything. And this is happening in front of him. And he's checking his reflexes, his patterns, as Nagisa stands up in the middle of math class during a test, as he walks over to Koro-sensei with his paper in hand. The class sees that Nagisa has a knife, as they all smile. Koro-sensei sees this and gets a bit on guard. As Nagisa approaches, there's no sense of fear, nervousness, kindness, compassion, or pity. There's no faint emotion anywhere. His face is blank. Koro-sensei, which used to be known as the God of Death, takes a step back. As Nagisa sets the paper, the clipboard, on the teacher's desk and holsters his knife. He looks up with his blood-red eyes and says, "Sorry, Teach, but I guess I finished early. Do you mind if I go out for lunch?" Koro-sensei slows his sweating as he says, Sure, I don't mind. You finished your test after all." But if you get below a C, you're gonna have to be using your free time to study, mister. Nagisa puts his hand on the back of the head and says, "Sure," as he walks out of the room. Koro-sensei picks up the test and has that reassured look on his face. Let's say his face is yellow, because that's what I imagine reassurance would look like. But yes, he's looking over Nagisa's test, and he's looking at the scores as he sees correct, 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 correct. He's looked over it. Let's say the test was 30 questions long. He's around question 28 as... Stop. And now we're going over Nagisa's perspective as he left the classroom. He opens the door and shuts it behind him as he walks out of the school, and as he's on the front lawn, on the opposite side of where his classroom usually is, he bolts. He runs straight to where he knows where the opening hatch is to get under the floorboards. He crawls till he's right under Koro-sensei, using his sense manipulation to pinpoint exactly where he is using his hearing. And as he's doing this, he's right below Koro-sensei, and he uses his sense of time. So he knows that due to Koro-sensei's increased speed, but because of the fact that Nagisa spooked him so much, he should have been moving on more human levels. So he knows that he didn't read through lightning fast. That's what the shock was for. So Nagisa has used a skill he's learned to hide his scent. It's one of the things he got when he learned not to tear up. He has odorless sweat, so he doesn't have a smell. Unless he puts cologne on, and he doesn't. So, as he's under the floorboards, Koro-sensei's on question 29. As Koro-sensei's approaching question 29, it's a word problem, and the answer is written weirdly. He's reading this, and he's getting confused, as he says, "I'll have to mark that one wrong, Nagisa," in his head, as he moves on to question 30. He reads question 30 and says, "Look above you." Koro-sensei quickly snaps his neck up to see the ceiling, as Nagisa busts through the bottom of the floor like it was styrofoam, and grabs Koro-sensei in a chokehold to where he can't slip out. As he says, "Gotcha, sensei." As Koro-sensei stares into his blood-red eyes, the black toenail spin, as if it was entrancing him, as Koro-sensei blacks out. Nagisa lets go of Koro-sensei, picks him up, and walks him to the teacher's lounge, and then he comes back and stands where Koro-sensei sits. The whole class is looking up in awe. They didn't move. They barely breathe. As he says, "Nobody kills him until I say so." The entire class looks at Nagisa weirdly and says, "But we have the chance. You knocked him out." "How'd you knock him out?" Nagisa looks at him and says, "Bloodlust." Karma says, "If I were y'all, I'd listen to him. He's not one that get taken down easy, and he just took down Koro-sensei fairly quickly. I say we should respect his decision. It was his takedown, so if he decides not to kill him at this moment, there's no reason we should take it." They all agree, some of them more reluctant than the others, like Tentacle Girl, I forget her name. But she's one of the people that wanted just to kill him off right now. And Nagisa says, sorry, but like Karma said, he was my takedown, so I should decide whether to kill him or not. Not wanting to blow her cover, she says, fine. But still, this is our chance. He says, yeah, but the thing is, he is going to be fun in the future. As Nagisa says, so, who's all done with their tests? The whole class says, we finished about 5 minutes ago. You were busy carrying Koro-sensei. He says, okay then, let's move on to English. And for that entire day, Nagisa taught the class, raising his IQ to about that of a college professor. He tutored them all individually using genjutsu to make it appear that he was doing only them the entire class period, so that they all got the maximum amount of information. He's getting better and better at genjutsu every day. And as Koro-sensei wakes up, he sees he's resting on Nagisa's lap. He says, so you're awake, Sensei. As Koro-sensei jumps up, says, what are we doing? What are you doing here? Nagisa says, well, you see, you passed out. And I figured it'd be impolite to kill you on the spot. He looks at Nagisa and says, what? I passed out? In the middle of class? He starts bowing down and Nagisa saying, I'm so sorry I made you kids miss the whole day of class. Nagisa says, oh no, it was no big deal. I made sure all of them got at least something done today. And I figured I'd make sure you didn't die when one of them came back to assassinate you while I left you. As Koro-sensei suddenly remembers, what did you do? He says. Well, you see, about a month before school started, I came in and replaced the majority, around 92% of the planks on the floor with styrofoam, just enough to where I knew it could support around a man's weight, so that I'd be able to bust through when my plan came out. Not only that, but I purposely made you feel shocked, scared as I walked up, along with the knife to throw you off, to where you weren't as expecting of an attack. I also misinformed you and made you look up instead of down. Then, I made sure you couldn't move without killing me. And that is how I took you down. Koro-sensei looks at Nagisa shocked and says, you, a student, took down the sensei. Preposterous. Nagisa pats Koro-sensei on the head and says, okay. As he stands up and says, so next time you want me to end you? Koro-sensei looks at him and says, I welcome the challenge. Nagisa smiles and says, oh wow, and puts him under genjutsu immediately. Goes gets an anti-Koro-sensei knife and walks over, puts it on his throat, and undoes the genjutsu and says, are you sure? Koro-sensei looks back and says, how did you... Well, you see, I have the ability to trick other people's minds to a certain degree to where they don't even know I'm moving. Koro-sensei says, but I saw you there. Koro-sensei chalks it up to a feature of the tentacles. As Nagisa says, how about this? If I were you, I'd keep your guard around me at all times. And in return, I won't use my illusionistic ability on you. Actually, he says, here, because I want this, I think you're a very good teacher. I'm not going to use my illusionistic ability on you. After all, I think you could teach our class a good bit. As Nagisa walks away with his coat, he says, we'll see you tomorrow, Teach. As he turns back and smiles, Karma's waiting for him as he walks down and says, so hey Karma, where are we going now? Well, I would say the arcade, but we still have lessons. He says, oh yeah, but I can't go today, I have a mission with the boss. Karma says, oh man, he didn't tell you I can do it? He says, no, he said it's only something I can do. He says, that makes sense. Recently, Nagisa has been getting more and more into electro-type jutsu and water-type jutsu. Now, he can't perform anything high-level but two different jutsu. No, yeah, 3 different jutsu. He can only perform 3 different jutsu that are high-level. The rest are like, suck small water out of plants to survive, and harness your electric body and your body's kinetic energy. God, I stutter. And harness your body's kinetic energy to make you go faster. He can only use that kind of stuff, but he can use 3 high-level jutsu. One of them is the flying raijin. He can physically place seals or write them down. Now, he's only told 2 people about this. The boss of the Yakuza and Karma. As Karma says, we'll see you then. Nagisa walks off. He goes to the back finale and puts on a dress and a hoodie. No, a skirt and a hoodie. And some dress shoes and some leggings. As he walks, I know I'm doing some weird cross-dressing shit, but if his mom saw him in public, she'd kill him on the spot. Because all her friends think she has a daughter. So, yeah, so he walks to the Yakuza's place as he says, so, boss, what kind of job we have today? The Yakuza leader says, well, we're gonna need you to rob a bank. Nagisa says, that's it? Next time give me something hard. As he hands him a dollar bill and says, insert this into the bank, whatever bank you want me to rob, and I'll get it done. As Nagisa says, so all you need to do is get this into the bank vault. So I'd probably have to wait about 27 hours, and then I can get it all. The Yakuza leader says, fine, I'll give you 48 hours. Nagisa smiles, and they fist bump and say, thanks, boss. As he hands him the dollar bill and walks out. He waits. He goes to school the next day, and he doesn't attempt an assault on Koro-sensei's life. But what he does do is, in 27 hours from then, he says, well, I guess it's time. And he says, flying raijin. As he appears, it's closing time at the bank, and the teller is putting in the leftover money. It's in a stack as he appears there. He's now holding this tack as he says, "Sorry, ma'am," and immediately puts on her against to erases her memory of his face and knocks her out. He then puts flying Raijin on all the money and the safety deposit boxes, and he uses his sensory ability to see through the money and find any trackers and remove them. After that, he says, "Flying Raijin," as he appears in front of the Yakuza leader with all the money in the bank. Oh yeah, and he also used a electric type jutsu. He fried the hard drives of the safe of computers in the bank for the security cameras. So yes. Now back to Nagisa. He appears in front of the boss with all the money as he says, "Here are the bills." The Yakuza leader says, "Thanks, kid. I'm really glad we can do business like this." Nagisa says, "No, don't worry, you know the arrangement, old man." He laughs and says, "Yeah, I understand." As he hands Nagisa 150 G's, and he says, "I'll send. I'll keep. I'll keep him off his back." As he says, "Good." As Nagisa walks out and says, "That gives me another 2 months." As he walks into his house and says, "Mom, I'm home," his mom says, "Oh, honey, you're back. So, I have a plan to get you back at least onto the main campus. I've saved some money at work, and I figured if we present it to the principal as a donation, he'll let you back into the main campus." Now he says, "But Mom, I'm enjoying myself in E-class." As he says, "I'll take up a summer job, and I'll pay you back as long as you don't make me." As he stops because he realizes he's seeing her heartbeat as he says, "Yes, Mom." Her heartbeat slows as she says, "Good." And then he says, "Oh yeah, Mom, I got paid. Here's a year's payment from the summer job I've been doing." She says, "Oh yeah, you're working at that one intern place that only pays once a year. Didn't you win a contest?" Nagisa bought a computer science contest winner trophy for first place, and he said, "Yeah, it really bumped up my pay grade." As he hands her 50 grand, she says, "Honey, you were an intern for 6 months." He says, "Yeah, sorry I couldn't make more, Mom." As he hugs her, he still loves his mom more than anything. Even if he is ridiculed for the things he chooses and punished for meager things. He still knows that his mom loves him for what she made him. And he's okay with that because someone loves him. The only other person he could say loves him is Karma. But he knows that Karma is his best friend and that it's not a love situation. So the only one he can really say loves him is his mom. As he says, "Well, I hope this can help with the rent this month." As she says, "This will cover the rent for a couple months, honey, thank you." As she hands him a $100 bill and says, "Here, use this for whatever you want to buy." And then she pockets the rest. He thanks his mom as he goes to his room. He puts the $100 bill in his wallet, and then he puts the other 100 G's in his wall. No, not in his wall. He cuts his bed open and stuffs it in his bed. Yes, he stuffs it in his mattress, and he sews it back up. As he lays on his mattress thinking, I've collected around 400 G's right now. I've collected almost 400 G's now, and I think I can probably afford to live on my own in the next 2 years out of the money I've collected. But how will I take care of my mom? I can't fend for both of us. She'll always want to be in my life. He's sitting there thinking this, as he says, I'll figure it out in the morning. As he goes to sleep, and that's where we're gonna end off. Now, next episode, good chance I'm gonna go into some of the Assassination classroom marks, so be there if you want to find out. And for all you know, he may even get a sharingan on Gekyo. Well, I'm gonna leave it off there, guys, and we'll see you guys. Oh wait, nope. I gotta remember. I gotta simp for likes. Come on, guys, like, subscribe. I believe in you. Like, subscribe, comment. Yeah. Clout. Give me all the clout. Yeah, but no. Like I said, if we hit that 100 subscriber like goal, which I think we can, or so close, I will give at least an hour-long video then on Friday. So, yeah, duel out. Bye, demons.